What's up, Raza? What's up, gente? I want to talk about the Supreme Court today because something just went down that many of us kind of expected, but now it's gotten real, especially for a lot of our brothers and sisters from the Haitian countries and even the Middle Eastern countries, and for that matter, any country that is undergoing a civil war. Maybe there's a natural disaster like an earthquake or a hurricane, or maybe there's crime that's just out, crazy out of control. And or maybe you gotta, like if you go back to times of the Nazis, and I can bring this up because people basically don't read history. They do understand when I say Nazi and Jews. When the Jews were being persecuted by the Nazis, right, chased out, or they were being persecuted and brutalized and killed. Well, this law, TPS, became law in 1990. And the reason why this is important is because people recognize that people were, in countries after the United States, for example, had bombed Vietnam and Laos and Southeast Asia, after the United States bombed and killed leaders in Latin America. Anybody really, for that matter, had done wrong to people of those countries, you destabilize those countries, and people are left to basically flee. And that's what happens. Many people, they come here, and that's what the law says, temporary, right? Temporary. And that's part of what the Supreme Court focused on. But what people forget is that people came here not just because they wanted to be here, because the truth is, if you leave it up to them, they go back home. A lot of people would rather be in Mexico and Venezuela and Cuba and beautiful countries where they got, an ocean that surrounds them, right? Island countries. But no, when you bomb the hell out of them, when you infiltrate their governments, assassinate their leaders, or uh, you know, pump drugs into their communities or anything else, people are going to flee. And that's what this program was created to try to resolve. But the truth is, especially as a history teacher, when this went down, it protected people. And it says, and it's in the law, temporary. And that's what the Trump administration is saying, that people overstayed their visa, that people, it was no longer temporary, that these people were staying too long. Now, get this, everybody. The Supreme Court judges who ruled in favor of getting rid of this law, they sided with these politicians, saying, said, so what? And this included J.D. Vance, the vice president, who referred to Haitians as eating dogs, right? Trump, who said Haitians were poisoning the blood of America and that we need good immigrants like those from Norway or those European countries, right? Well, that's a straight white supremacy. The Supreme Court said, so it's not our problem, as if the motivation didn't matter, right? We shouldn't be surprised because a lot of these Supreme Court justices or judges, they're racist themselves. They're straight up racist, or neo Nazis themselves, sitting there with black robes, um, pretending to be dignified. And some of them, like Clarence Thomas, is actually a black man who sold his people out and so-called, the people a long time ago. But they all vote together, 6-3, 6-3. And when one of the judges, other Supreme Court, the three women who voted against this, one of the other women pointed out the racism in this ruling. Again, their whole point was, well, we should have made it even worse or tougher. We should have said something even tougher. Because remember, everybody, when the Supreme Court rules, that's supposed to be the end of it. That is it. That you can't make laws that oppose that, because supposedly the Supreme Court is interpreting the law and is saying what the United States truly stands for, what they meant by when they wrote these laws, right? They interpret these laws. And so this one judge questioned that, the racial part of it, and the other judges were like, yeah, we should have doubled down. So that tells you where they stand. That tells you where they're coming from. You got six judges appointed by Republicans, and you got three judges appointed by Democrats. Democrats have not been our friend throughout history. We know that. But when you look at the current situations, the material conditions we are dealing with, and the Democratic Party used to be the party of slavery and the white supremacy KKK, but then they flipped in the 1960s, especially during the civil rights movement. Many Southern Democrats, especially, they flipped. They wanted to remain racist, but they started following the Republican Party. And many black leaders in the South, especially those who fought for the civil rights of all people, but especially black people, They took over the Democratic Party. Fannie Lou Hamer, she is a famous black woman who questioned the Mississippi Democratic Party and said, you claim to represent the people, you don't," and she put them on check. And then so did other leaders, right? Uh, and we as raza, and for that matter, we as people, especially those of us who are brown and black and Asian, etc., we are left to deal with these two major parties that right now judges appoint judges that make decisions that we all got to live by in the Supreme Court. And that's what happened today. You had the Republican Party who took over the racist mentality, took over the racist agenda from the Democratic Party. And basically, six of those judges who've been appointed by Republicans basically ruled that this temporary law supposedly is gone now. Is no longer here. And sadly, you're talking about 350,000 Haitians. I have a lot of friends in New York. I have a lot of friends in the East Coast, for that matter, who are Haitian. We traveled to Cuba together. I learned so much from them. I got a lot of love for those people, man. That those are some people that remind me of my people. Because a lot of them, they come here, and some of them are scared because they don't know if they're going to be deported or not. But they work hard. They work all the jobs that people don't want to do, just like our people, right? And then I also have a lot of friends who, and I should note this, who are Muslim, because in this they also included the Syrians. That's about 6,000 Syrians. But this is going to trickle down to other immigrants. So if you're not Haitian or Syrian, that doesn't mean they're not going to go after you, especially if you're brown from Latin American countries like Mexico or Colombia or other countries. They're coming after you too, right? Don't fall for this trap of wanting to be the good American, so you bow down to Trump. Don't be that. Don't do that. If there's anything ever to do today for us as a people, that is to stand side by side with our Haitian brothers and sisters who've already been demonized. That's how J.D. Vance and Trump won. They falsely claimed that they were eating dogs, right? They dehumanized them as monsters. And I hate to say it, but America has proven again, and through its institutions, which is the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, America has proven again that it has always been a racist country. Yeah, I've always told people that. I never start a single course without telling people that this country is founded on white supremacy. Because if I say otherwise, I'm lying. And a lot of people out there also know that that's true. Well, 250 years after the founding of this country, the Supreme Court proves that yes, white supremacy is what drives this country. A lot of white people are scared. That's why even though they knew it was BS about Haitians eating dogs, I mean, there's the ignorant ones, but even those who knew better, even they voted still for this maniac in the White House for this agenda of white supremacy. And so they're going to come after these people, and we need to stand with them because they've been coming after us too. And there's one more case we're waiting for, and that's birthright citizenship. And when it drops, I will get on here and make a statement, because this next case is going to impact all of us, not just Haitians, not just Syrians. It's going to impact all of us. It's going to impact even you who, for example, was born here, but your parents were not, or you who were born here, but your grandparents were not. If they find anything on you, if they find any reason, they're going to go after you, and they're going to start stripping people of their citizenship. That is huge, because that's exactly what Trump wants. He wants a white nation, a nationalist nation. Remember, he's a Republican, not because he's a true Republican, because he's not even down with their values. He's down with his values, white nationalism, that's all he truly values. And money. White nationalism, money. Not all Republicans believe in nationalism. Not all Republicans believe in money. A lot of them, they happen to fall into that category. But he's down for himself, so he's going to come after even some of you who support him today. Latinos for Trump. We're keeping tabs, and we should keep tabs. That's how. Who are those Latinos who for Trump? Who are those people who voted for him? Who are those politicians that enabled him to continue this ugly attack on people, especially today where the Supreme Court says go after the Haitians. So that's how we need to stand with the Haitian people. Those of you who think you're off the hook, you are not, because today the Supreme Court upheld white supremacy and said, yes, it's okay. They got rid of this law. It's no longer the case. Get ready for more mass deportation and arrests around the country, because that's going down. And sadly, it's going to go down this summer. So let's get ready for it, because right before he gets ready to steal the election, to cancel the elections, right before Trump gets ready to do all that, he's setting up the table. He's priming everybody, getting us ready for basically a racial war, and he's loving it from the White House. He can enjoy it there from the comforts of the White House, protected with all that mass military, while everybody else attacks each other based on race. So Raza, don't get caught up on the the stupidness that I always talk about. Don't get caught up on the foolishness, because we are an international thinking base here, and we should be. We should include our brothers and sisters from all over the world, but especially those from poor countries. And even if they're from Europe, we are internationalists, right? We believe in working with our brothers and sisters, and we believe in that agenda. So as he sets up this race war, don't get caught up with that foolishness. Just be prepared to work with your comrades and your colleagues and those in coalition with you, who are ready to take to the streets, to organize, to simply give advice. And if you can't do that, maybe mail something to information that people need, or send stuff over, make a donation, whatever you can do. If you're an artist, donate your talent, because we're going to need everybody on board, right? By any means necessary. All right, everybody, I'm out. Aho.